Welcome to Honeybee, real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. My name is Andrew. I'm 38 years old, and this is the story of the night I discovered my wife at a party I had begged her not to attend, wearing almost nothing. What unfolded afterward was something she never thought I would do. I first met Hannah right after college, when we were both starting out in our first real jobs in Chicago. She quickly became my whole world. I wasn't the type to be outgoing or social. I wasn't the guy who knew everyone at every bar or restaurant. I was the quiet one who preferred Netflix and takeout. But Hannah lit up a part of me I didn't even know was there. At parties, Hannah had this magnetic energy. Within minutes, she could win over an entire room. But alcohol affected her differently than most people. 2 drinks, and she'd already be tipsy. 3, and her filter disappeared. 4, and she'd wake up mortified by her own behavior. I learned that about 6 months into our relationship at her co-worker Priya's birthday. I'd stepped away to the bathroom for just a few minutes. And when I came back, Hannah was on the kitchen counter trying to copy some TikTok dance moves. When I helped her down, she just giggled and asked why everyone was staring. She had no clue what she'd done. The next morning, I showed her the video someone had posted online. Her face drained of color. She deleted all her social accounts and stayed inside for a week. That was when we first had a serious talk about her drinking. Hannah wasn't an alcoholic. Not at all. She could go weeks without touching alcohol. But when she did drink in social settings, it was like something shut off in her brain. We agreed she'd still go out, still be herself, but stick to club soda or Diet Coke. For her, it wasn't a big deal. She cared more about the people than the alcohol anyway. And for 2 years, it worked. In September 2019, we got married, right before the world shut down with the pandemic. Our wedding was small and simple. That first year of marriage, stuck together in our 1-bedroom apartment, we did what most couples did. Binge-watched entire shows, experimented with cooking meals we'd never tried before, and had endless late-night conversations. Honestly, it brought us closer. But when things reopened in 2021, Hannah was eager to make up for lost time. There were birthdays, new bars, postponed girls' nights. She wanted to do it all. Meanwhile, my career was exploding. I'd started as a junior developer at a fitness tech startup, and by 2021, I was leading a 6-person team on a project that could make or break the company. My hours were brutal. I'd come home drained, barely able to talk. Hannah tried to include me in her outings, but I was either buried in work or too tired to keep up. The first warning sign came in March 2022. Hannah went to Zoe's bachelorette party, which started with brunch and ended at some nightclub I'd never heard of. That night, around 11 p.m., I was still at the office when my phone blew up with Instagram tags. In one video, Hannah was laughing and clearly tipsy, downing shots in a bright red top. In another, she was dancing on a chair while strangers cheered. But the third video froze me. She was at the bar, and some guy I didn't know had his hands on her waist, steadying her as she climbed down. His hands lingered too long. I watched that clip over and over. She didn't stumble in until 4 a.m. The next morning, she was too hungover to even talk. When I showed her the videos later, she broke down crying. She swore it was nothing, that Zoe insisted they all do shots, and before she realized it, she was drunk. She promised nothing happened beyond what I saw. And I believed her, but she had still broken our agreement. And seeing another man's hands on her stayed with me for weeks. We had a long talk about boundaries. She apologized endlessly and promised to be more careful. For a while, things felt steady again. By early 2023, my project had launched successfully and my workload eased. Hannah was going out maybe twice a month, sticking to her no-drinking rule, always with the same group of friends. I thought we'd found our balance again. Then came Kelsey's 30th birthday party. Kelsey was Hannah's single friend, the one always suggesting wild nights out. On social media, the party was advertised as adults only with the tagline, "What happens here stays here." Hannah conveniently left that part out when she told me. I reminded her of the bachelorette incident and suggested she take Kelsey to dinner instead. To my surprise, Hannah agreed. She said maybe she was outgrowing house parties anyway and wanted to act more like a married woman. I was proud of her for saying that. But by Friday, her tone had shifted. Kelsey had guilt-tripped her, saying she at least expected Hannah, her oldest friend, to show up. Feeling torn, Hannah proposed a compromise. She'd go, but only if I went with her. That way, she'd have me as her safeguard. I didn't want to go. I was swamped at work, exhausted, and told her honestly that I'd only dragged the mood down. I suggested other ways she could celebrate Kelsey, but Hannah got angry. She accused me of being selfish, controlling, even trying to isolate her from her friends. That hit hard. I never saw myself as controlling. I thought I was just setting healthy boundaries based on past mistakes. But she dismissed my concerns as paranoia. Finally, I told her flat out, if she went to that party, after everything that had happened, it would break the trust we'd rebuilt. She glared at me and said I was being ridiculous, that she was an adult who could make her own choices. Then she walked out. The next day was tense and silent. I stepped out to see a friend. When I came back, Hannah was gone. She claimed she was at dinner with her sister, but her story felt rehearsed. My gut told me the truth. That night, when her phone went straight to voicemail, I knew for certain. So I opened the tracking app for her car. I drove to the address. The moment I saw the house, music blasting, people spilling out onto the porch, I knew. I walked inside without anyone stopping me. The living room was crowded with dancers and drinkers. I searched every room, finally making my way upstairs. 2 doors were closed. Behind one, I heard her laugh, slurred, unmistakable. I opened the door. There she was, sprawled on a couch, half-dressed, with some stranger on top of her. His hands were all over her. Her dress was pushed up, her hair a mess, her bra slipping off one shoulder. They were too lost in each other to notice me at first. When she finally did, her face flashed through confusion, horror, and something like relief. In that instant, everything clicked. She hadn't just made a mistake. She'd made a choice to lie, sneak out, betray me. I closed the door and walked out. I don't remember how I got home, just that I sat in the dark, replaying it all. Every argument, every promise, every time she told me I was insecure. Turns out I wasn't insecure. I was right. When she finally came home past 1 a.m., she tried to explain through tears. She said it wasn't what it looked like, that she was drunk, that nothing really happened. But I let her talk until she ran out of excuses. Then I told her I was done. 3 days later, I moved out. Hannah begged. She promised counseling, promised she'd never drink again, never see Kelsey again. But it didn't matter. The problem wasn't alcohol. It wasn't her friends. The problem was that I couldn't trust her anymore. And without trust, there was nothing left to save. The divorce went through months later. She kept the apartment. I kept most of the savings. Through friends, I learned the guy's name was Bryce, a friend of Kelsey she'd met that same night. Not even an affair. Just some random man she decided was worth destroying our marriage for. She tried reaching out afterward with texts, emails, voicemails. I never responded. What was the point? Sometimes I wonder, if I hadn't gone to that house, would she have come home and lied her way out of it? Would I have believed her? I'll never know, and I'm glad, because what I saw gave me clarity. It showed me who she really was when she thought no one was watching. That night, in those 3 seconds when I opened that door, my marriage ended. My trust ended. And the next chapter of my life began. I've never regretted walking away. Thank you for listening.